Oh, life. Throughout my almost 19 years of life, I have seen that most of us tend to share some traits. Most of us tend to have something that we enjoy and that we appreciate. Let that be a piece of art, let that be a new movie, let that be a good movie, let that be even be someone else. Most of us understand that our actions have consequences and that we should act with empathy and kindness towards each other. And most of us want to create greater networks of friends so that we can make this life on earth a little bit less miserable. And of course, the most important of all, most of us absolutely hate philosophy. Throughout my almost 19 years of life, I can probably use my two hands to count everyone that I've met that actually like philosophy. And taking out the philosophy teachers, I can probably do it with just one. Now, of course, I'm just joking. But it is true that people tend to hate philosophy. For instance, when I first told my friends what I was going to talk about in my TED Talk, they said they were visibly disappointed and said, and I quote, "Sounds pretty goddamn boring." But where does this hate towards philosophy comes from? Well, I have my theories. I believe there's two main reasons why people don't like philosophy. And the first one is that thinking is scary and uncomfortable. Let's be honest, think of a time when you were consistently happy, and I bet you it was before you started wondering whether you live in a simulation, or if you truly have free will, or if everything you have done in life is completely meaningless, and you're just a speck of light floating around in the universe. Or maybe it was before Alistair gave you your first COK assignment. And the most relevant one that I think is the second reason, that philosophy doesn't really have conclusive answers. Now, this is a really big problem because we live in a world where subjects such as science and math have given us very conclusive answers to phenomena we observe every single day and have used this phenomenon to make our lives better. Take, for instance, medicine, new machines, the automobile. These are all examples of these more practical subjects making life better. Now, you may be thinking, maybe this is just a dumb way to think, right? This is just a dumb excuse that kids say when they go bad on philosophy exams. There's no way someone smart would think like this. What if I told you that some of the most brilliant minds who have ever existed think exactly like this? Take Stephen Hawking, for example, which wrote in his 2010 Grand Design book, Why are we here? Where do we come from? Traditionally, these are questions for philosophy, but philosophy is dead. Philosophers have not kept up with modern developments in science, particularly physics. And also, Nobel Prize winner Steven Weinberg, who wrote in his book, Dreams of a Final Theory, an entire chapter called Against Philosophy. So as you can see, even the smart people don't like philosophy. Now, of course, I have an opinion on this topic. It's not like I gave all this exposition to talk about something completely random now. And I might be one of the 4 people in this room that actually like philosophy. But it doesn't mean that just because I like something, it makes that thing important. And that made me question, is philosophy really important? Does it get overshadowed by more practical subjects such as mathematics and sciences? Is philosophy too impractical for us to use in real life? If so many people don't like philosophy, do we truly need it? By Vitaly Mashine. Now, like any good IB student, I left to do this TED Talk to the last minute, so it's safe to say I needed a bit of help, and a bit of help I've got. You may know a friend of mine that has given me help. His name is Aristotle from ancient Greece. The story goes as following. In the 4th century BCE, there's this tiny, very not known little school in Athens called Plato's Academy, which taught the most gifted, not the most gifted, the most relevant sons of the most relevant families in Athens. And although you may actually already know this from philosophy class, did you know there were more schools in Athens? One example of this is an academy run by Isocrates. And it's safe to say that Isocrates' Academy had a bit of a rivalry with Plato's Academy. Something that can be compared to today, for example, with Cambridge and Oxford, or Caltech and MIT, or even Grêmio and Internacional. But this rivalry didn't just come from maybe difference in quality of education, or just because there are two popular schools in the same city. No, this rivalry came from actually a difference in the ideas that the two academies taught and the way of which they taught them to the students. You see, Plato's Academy was famous for a lot of stuff, and one of them was their method of teaching. In Plato's Academy, you didn't learn any practical skills. Plato thought it was of most importance to learn the fundamentals above anything else. So for example, in Plato's Academy, you didn't learn to be a judge, but you did learn the nature of justice. You didn't learn to paint a beautiful painting, but you did learn what makes something beautiful. And you didn't learn to govern a city, but you did learn the ideals of a good city. This, my friends, is philosophy. Socrates thought this was dumb. He once said, those who study philosophy may be able to actually do something, but they will invariably do it worse than those who participate directly in practical activities. Whoever pays no attention to philosophical discussions and is inducted directly into a practical activity will be much more successful in every case. As far as the arts and sciences are concerned, philosophy is completely useless. Ouch. This criticism received a reply from a very gifted student of Plato's Academy. You may actually know him. His name is Aristotle, from ancient Greece. You see, he wrote a Platonic dialogue called Protrepticus, which means an invitation in Greek, where he wrote three main arguments to explain why, yes, the study of fundamentals and abstract concepts are important for the sciences and arts. And I'll be talking about them. The first argument he stated was that by criticizing philosophy, you are philosophizing. What do you mean, Aristotle? Well, think of it like this. When someone criticizes philosophy, because, for instance, unlike other subjects such as science, for example, which has a lot of practical applications and concrete answers, philosophy doesn't have that. But when you're saying that, you're not really doing a bunch of complex mathematical equations in your head, and you're not going to the laboratory to do an experiment to prove why you're right. You're instead debating on what types of knowledge are really that important, and what are the methods that are relevant to be done in science. That is philosophy. I feel like this is less of an argument to prove why Socrates is wrong, and more of just a way of Aristotle showing us that philosophy really is everywhere, and we just don't notice. Thinking critically and reasoning is philosophizing, and we do it every day. Aristotle's second argument is that the analysis of fundamentals, aka philosophy, has in fact influenced practical activities. Now, this is because thinking reasonably, thinking critically, opens the doors for new pursuits, frees us from preconcepts, reveals leaps in our logic, and opens our minds to new possibilities. We are very complex beings, and our knowledge evolves as we mature and grow. And seeing that philosophy, among a lot of other things, is the study of this knowledge, you can kind of see how important philosophy really is for these practical activities. Aristotle states in this argument that philosophy offers a guide to how research should be conducted. And finally, the third argument, in which he says practical subjects not only work with philosophy, but they also actively need it, especially where lack of comprehension is greatest. When science is going through periods of great change, radical, intense change, it is then that it most needs science. Take, for example, what are we going through now with the research of quantum gravity, which could absolutely change our ways of seeing how space and time are seen once again. Thinking about philosophy and how philosophers, old philosophers, discuss and argue what exactly is space and time, and what are its boundaries, helps us get back in track to what we're doing and to what we're researching. Aristotle says in this argument that Socrates, sorry, I forgot his name, is wrong. And yes, practical subjects do need philosophy. Philosophy is a vital source of inspiration, of criticism, and of ideas. But what I find most interesting about this argument is that not only has philosophy nourished great science, but great science has also nurtured philosophy as well. Newtonic physics helped Hume and Kant to create their own philosophical theories. Descartes would be incomprehensible without Copernicus, and Quinn without Einstein's theory of relativity. Philosophy also takes science as a model of reference. Thinking of it like this, we realize that these practical skills and these impractical skills are not so different, and they don't work against each other. On the contrary, they work with each other to prop each other up to greater heights. In my own experience, people tend to underestimate philosophy. They say that, well, philosophy hasn't made that many innovations for us in the world. They haven't contributed that much. Why is it that important? But I think they fail to realize that that's not philosophy's job. Philosophy is supposed to let us break down our complexities of society, to let us understand how others see the world, to teach us how to think, and to let us have a deeper and more rooted connection with our reality. A life without philosophy is one of great superficiality and ignorance, and it betrays our deepest roots, our love for knowledge. Thank you so much.